So as I mentioned, welcome. Let's jump right in, okay? So I want to introduce myself. My name is Veronica, and I am the founder and chief instructor of Help Me Path LLC. I'm a former classroom teacher, a licensed teacher in the District of Columbia in the state of Texas. I am a Howard University graduate, proud one, Southern University and A&M graduate, proud one, as well as a certified life coach to teens and young adults. So today's topic, 5 reasons why your standardized test scores are low. Now, I know this one is a heavy topic and it may even bruise some egos, but the truth has to come forth anyhow. So let's jump right in. 5 reasons why your standardized test scores are low. Number one, you don't have a strategy for students to learn complex concepts. Now, when we talk about testing, test preparation in general, okay, a lot of educators think that just means reviewing. And to an extent, it does. But reviewing is just one very small component of exam preparation. Now, I want to specifically address the point of number one, which says you don't have a strategy for students to learn complex concepts. The way that you prepare for one subject is not the way that you prepare for another. It's not necessarily the way you prepare for another, okay? Each subject, depending on the complexity, should be prepared for in a very strategic manner. Let me be more specific so that I'm not using generalizations. The way that you prepare for math is not the way that you prepare for social studies exams. The way that you prepare for science is not the way that you prepare for language arts. The way that you prepare for STEM is not the way that you prepare for humanities, which entails social studies, history, language arts, right? And I think the issue is, I know the issue is that we're bundling in all of these strategies, or we don't even have a strategy. We're bundling in all of the exam prep review in the same way. And that's just not how it should be. So you don't have a strategy for students to learn complex concepts, and you need one. That's the point. Number two, your teachers are overwhelmed. How more simple can it get? Your teachers are overwhelmed. And you expect them to also be able to prepare for exams or prepare your students, which are also their students, for exams. There comes a point where education administrators, you all have to decide what is more important. Is it having all of this paperwork done, like lesson plans and write this and turn in this and turn in that? Or is it having your exam scores at mastery level? Is it having your standardized test scores at mastery level? Because let me tell you something. I was a teacher and I left the classroom because I was extremely overwhelmed, stressed out, having chest pains, migraines, you name it, because of all this paperwork that principals wanted submitted. And to an extent, I understand why. Because the executive directors, the school board officials want to see paperwork. But guess what? All that paperwork, all of this laundry list, this to-do list, it doesn't help your standardized test scores. And then you lose good teachers who could actually impact standardized test scores. And you know why? Because they're stressed. And you know how I know? Because they lost one with me. I won't say the school district, but they lost one. They lost a phenomenal teacher who is myself because I was stressed out. And I could have transformed students' performance metrics. I could have transformed that school's testing performance metrics. But I wasn't willing to lose myself mentally or physically in order to do it. Number 3, classroom instruction is not engaging. May I be transparent? Don't ask permission, ask forgiveness. Some of your teachers are very boring. And this kind of ties in with number 2. The reason why classroom instruction is not engaging is because teachers are overwhelmed. So we see how this is a domino effect. How can you expect classroom instruction to be engaging and fun and lively and exuberant when teachers are overwhelmed? See, let's remember the topic at hand. 5 reasons why your standardized test scores are low. How can you expect your students to remember pivotal concepts, essential concepts rather, when they're bored in class, when they can barely focus because the teacher sounds like a robot? And I'm not speaking literally in terms of the voice of the teacher, but the instruction is just redundant and it's not impressive, quite frankly. And I know you're thinking, well, how do you make it engaging? We're going to talk about that. But in the meantime, let's move to number 4. Students don't understand interrelation. What is interrelation, Veronica? Interrelation is how concepts relate to one another, right? Often when teachers are covering test prep material, they're talking about what it means, how to do it, if it's math, that is, clues, what to look for, but they don't understand, students don't understand how the various concepts that they're learning in this one lesson all relate. And so there's a foundational piece that is missing. And because that foundational piece is missing, they can't connect the other pieces. So what am I saying in conclusion? Because I could go down a rabbit hole with this. In order to enhance your standardized test scores, the foundational pieces have to be not only laid, but emphasized and re-emphasized. There's so much foundation that needs to be laid and reiterated. And we can't forget about the foundation because we're trying to finish the roof, if I'm using the analogy of a home. Because what good is a roof if the foundation is not thoroughly intact? Let me bring it back to education. What good is it that I'm learning about adverbs and adjectives and prepositions if I don't understand what a noun is? If I don't know what a verb is? Because the other things that I mentioned, like adverbs and adjectives, are extensions of those very basic concepts like nouns and verbs. And how do they relate? Because remember, we're talking about interrelation. How do nouns and verbs relate? How do they? How do they relate to adjectives and adverbs? You understand where I'm going with this? Not only does the foundation have to be laid, but I want to say this in conclusion to point number 4. When we're talking about interrelation, foundation is just one component. But after we move forward from the foundation of a concept, then we have extensions from the foundation or branches. And then from those branches, we have more branches. So all of these branches are interrelated to the foundation or the root of that tree. I love speaking in analogies. I hope you understand what I mean by this. So I want to conclude with number 4 because, as I mentioned, I can go down a rabbit hole. But let's move to number 5, our last point. 5 reasons why your standardized test scores are low. curriculum is not relevant. I know I just dropped the bomb. What do you mean curriculum is not relevant? We expect in 2025 for students to pay attention to one topic, to learn, to eventually sit for exams, standardized tests, and do exceptionally well on them when the curriculum is not relevant to them at all. What are you suggesting, Veronica, that we rewrite curriculum? Perhaps. Is that an issue? Is that a deal breaker for you to get to the mastery level that you desire at your school? Curriculum is not relevant. Let me expand on that. There is something that I discovered during my master's program at Howard University. When conducting my action research, which essentially is a thesis, I realized, based on the topic that I selected, and I won't go into detail about that because I would love to chat more about that one-on-one and not here on this video. But the research that I conducted, results showed that when curriculum is relevant, it impacts results, it impacts student performance. And I know you're wondering, what do you mean by relevant? That's really what you want me to address, right? I can't address all of that in this video, but I will say this. There are several components to relevancy as it pertains to curriculum. And I'll be honest, you don't necessarily have to have all of them, but there are 2 or 3 main ones that every curriculum should entail that makes it relevant and that makes it relatable and that makes it stick in a student's brain. So that's all I have for you today. I do want to discuss these 5 points. Let's recap them very quickly. 5 reasons why your standardized test scores are low. You don't have a strategy for students to learn complex concepts. Your teachers are overwhelmed. Classroom instruction is not engaging. Students don't understand interrelation. Please get that. That is so important. Curriculum is not relevant. That is also very important. All of these are important. But 4 and 5 are the 2 that a lot of schools and school administrators are lacking in. So that's all I have for you today. I want to thank you so much for watching this video. Please be sure to subscribe. I know you hear that a lot at the end of YouTube videos, but I'm so serious because I'm going to continue to share content like this. Share with a colleague. I know there's someone that you can share with who can also benefit from this information. Don't be selfish. Don't keep it all to yourself. All right? And please follow us on social media. On Facebook and on LinkedIn, we have the same name, Help Me Pass. On Instagram, it's helpmepass.org_. On TikTok, it's helpmepass.org. So please follow us, subscribe, like this video. If you found this helpful, even if you didn't find it helpful, I still want you to like it because you watched it. And then I also want you to share in the comments your thoughts, okay? I really want feedback on these videos because not because I need it, but because I want to address concerns that you may have. And if you don't have concerns, if you have comments, or if you disagree, I want to hear it so I can address it, all right? I want to thank you so much for your time. And hey, Help Me Pass is here to help you get it done. That's not just for students. That's for school administrators and educators just like you. Look, if you want to work with me, because I would love to work with you, I want you to visit helpmepass.org/speaking. That's helpmepass.org/speaking. I would love for you to book a discovery call and let's discuss what are some things or some challenges that you're facing at your school right now. Let's talk about it. Let's address it. And look, remember, if you can do it at home or at school, don't do it alone. See you soon. Take care.